Imagine having the opportunity to own an airport. Every day, thousands of people are funneled directly through your doors. It sounds like operating a giant, unavoidable toll booth where a massive customer base comes to you by default. The revenue streams seem entirely foolproof. Commercial airlines desperately need your runways to run their networks, and passengers absolutely need your terminals to reach their destinations. But there is a side to this business that the passengers passing through the gates never see. Operating these facilities require billions of dollars in heavy construction, intense oversight from strict government regulators, and a staggering amount of debt. So if an airport acts as the ultimate geographic monopoly in a major city, why is it actually an incredibly fragile and risky investment? The first obstacle is the sheer scale of capital expenditure required to get off the ground. Before you can collect a single fee, you have to build out the core infrastructure, and a modern runway engineered to handle hundreds of heavy aircraft landings a day can cost over $1 billion alone. Then you need the terminal. Look at the massive physical footprint of the Beijing Daxing International Airport. Developing a facility at this scale requires tens of square kilometers of land and tens of billions of dollars before anyone even books a flight. The biggest threat to that initial investment is time. The moment a bank finances the project, the clock starts ticking, and interest on that debt begins accumulating over years of complex development. This chart shows how a simple construction delay turns into a financial disaster. Because interest payments don't wait for your grand opening, the debt climbs steeply while your operating revenue stays completely flat at zero. And when the facility finally opens, you face the aeronautical revenue trap. The process is highly engineered. You are funneled through a stressful, mandatory security checkpoint and then immediately dumped into a low-friction commercial zone where you have absolutely nothing to do but wait for your flight. The airport leverages this captive audience. They place brightly lit duty-free shops, luxury brands, and restaurants directly in your walking path. Once you are inside the gate area, your alternatives drop to zero. Operators secure these margins through revenue-sharing agreements, taking a guaranteed cut of every coffee, magazine, and luxury watch sold on the premises. The modern terminal layout is a highly optimized psychological machine designed to convert your pre-flight anxiety and excess dwell time directly into retail spending. Ground transportation and parking provide the property with its most reliable, lowest-effort business model. Compared to resurfacing a runway or maintaining complex baggage networks, the overhead of operating a massive stretch of asphalt like this is incredibly low. The economics are essentially flawless. A customer drives up, leaves their car sitting idle for days or even weeks, and the meter just continuously runs. At many major hubs, that unglamorous surface lot is actually a critical financial pillar, quietly generating hundreds of millions of dollars that subsidize the highly regulated, wildly expensive aviation operations. All of this commercial extraction is necessary because of the model's fatal flaw: staggering fixed costs. The debt payments, the security teams, and the massive climate control systems must be paid, whether 30 million people fly or zero. When global travel collapsed, we saw what happens when high fixed costs collide with a total lack of demand. Lines of grounded aircraft sat idle on the grass, turning airports into massive money pits almost overnight. You don't even need a global pandemic to expose this weakness. A simple miscalculation of regional demand leads to the ghost airport phenomenon. This is the completely empty check-in hall at Ciudad Real Central Airport in Spain. The developers spent roughly €1 billion building a flawless facility, but without network effects and active airline participation, the project failed instantly. Beautiful infrastructure cannot magically generate economic activity on its own. Without a captive audience of travelers to tax, the entire business model collapses under the weight of its own fixed costs. To hedge against these massive vulnerabilities, successful airports are evolving into an aerotropolis. They are expanding beyond the terminal to become anchor points for surrounding logistics hubs, corporate headquarters, and commercial real estate. Inside the building, operators are aggressively deploying new technologies to completely eliminate passenger waiting times at security and check-in checkpoints. Physical hardware, like this biometric fingerprint scanner, removes friction from the passenger experience. Every minute a traveler saves in line is a minute redirected toward the retail and commercial ecosystem. The modern airport is optimizing itself to act as an invisible, frictionless checkpoint that funnels maximum human and cargo traffic directly into its surrounding real estate. Every major hub operates as a stacked ecosystem, integrating aviation, retail, real estate, and logistics into a single financial machine. The takeaway for any investor or entrepreneur is clear. Never build a business reliant entirely on a single, highly regulated revenue stream. The strongest businesses find multiple distinct ways to monetize the exact same customer or asset, hedging their bets against the failure of any one vertical. Owning an airport means acquiring the ultimate captive audience shopping mall, a retail powerhouse that happens to have a runway attached.